So Hershey Chocolate World, Hershey Park. So there's Hershey Park, which is a amusement park, which has your whole amusement rides, like your roller coasters, your merry-go-rounds, your tilt-a-whirls, the whole 9 yards. Your water rides. It has a river rapids ride. It has the log flume. It has Tidal Force. I think Tidal Force still exists. Where you go down and then people get hit with the water and it's all a big fun thing. And it has, the Sidewinder, and it has dueling roller coasters. And then you have Hershey Chocolate World. That is like the visitor center that's like on steroids for Hershey chocolate fans. So we have a free ride that you can go to and just keep riding it as much as you want. And it tells you how we make chocolate at Hershey Chocolate World, or Hershey. It goes through the process, because they used to do tours of the plant. They still do tours, but very limited. So this way, a lot of people can go through the experience. There's like songs and it's simulated, and you get free candy at the end. And now they're singing cows. That was upgraded since I've been there.
Okay, singing cows now.
I was really anticipating like a Legoland, but chocolate. Like I'm thinking like,
It's
the water
like
that splashes up.
Is.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
I worked at the 3D show, so I worked at the 3D show. We had a 3D show, and I had to like introduce the show prior to. We had two different lobbies where we'd talk about the history of Hershey.
Wait, you worked at Hershey Park?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep, I did. Yeah, lots of free chocolate. In my summers between college, like freshman and sophomore year of college, I worked in Hershey.
Well, that's amazing.
I worked their Thanksgiving dinner for their employees was phenomenal. Like I would eat with my parents, and then I would go there for because we opened at 5 to 9, because people, that's like a holiday thing for people, right?
Yeah, and there's only so many things to do, I imagine. Yeah.
I mean, the guy I think I made a TikTok video about the guy who turned me on to like Coheed and Cambria. Yeah, he was my coworker at Hershey Chocolate World.
Damn. So, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tweets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Kyle. Yeah.
Kyle. Anyway, but yeah, I worked at Hershey Chocolate World for a few years. It was fantastic. I had to clean a lot of 3D glasses. We ran through a machine, and then I gave a lot of speeches. Had to put these so it was a 3D 4D experience where it had water came down from the sky, and we had these little ticklers that would pop out from underneath the seats to simulate rats running underneath your feet.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like the Muppet thing in Disney.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Sometimes those little tubes would come out, so we would have to put them back in. I learned all the things. So there we go. I could have worked.
Wow.
Welcome, all you recovering emo kids. Amanda and Rob here with Emo Kids Anonymous podcast. And today we are joined by Mike from The Honesty, a band out of Sacramento, California. Hi, Mike. How you doing today?
Good. How's it going?
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Lisa, shout out Lisa from Stereotherapy, our buddy, who we had on a couple of weeks ago. She is the one who connected us, and we are so happy to have you on, Mike. We have heard such great things. We love your music, and so wanted to get you on just to talk about the band, talk about your music, and what the future holds for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Lisa texted us 10 minutes before this happened, and she's like, "Are you guys, Rob, Amanda, are you guys interviewing The Honesty?" And I think I've just been in the pop punk game so long that I literally was like, "Oh, God damn it. What did these guys do?" Is it bad? Yeah, we're interviewing them literally in 10 minutes, Lisa. What? And she's like, "Oh, they're the best. No, they're awesome. We Mike's great. Chris is great." I'm like, awesome to hear. Thank you. They're like, "No, yeah, we love them. They make the scene a safe place." All this. I'm like, great news. Thank you. So you become highly regarded.
We were on their podcast I don't know. I want to say 4 months ago, but it's probably more than that because time flies and I'm just all the way out of it with having a new kid. But yeah, love Lisa, love Stereotherapy, and glad that paths have crossed to bring me here.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it. Yeah. Well, so to start us off, Mike, I'd love to hear a little bit about just your origin story. So how The Honesty came about. I know, before we started the episode, we were kind of talking about our backgrounds. I know you originally from Maryland, but you came out to Sacramento because your 9 to 5 is big tech, but you're doing the music thing on the side. So how did this all come about? Like, how did you get started?
Sure. So, to be honest, it came about. So I guess let me back up
Yeah, go ahead.
before I even get started. Started music way back in the day, kind of gave it up, ultimately moved into tech, which is how I ended up out here.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that, was going to therapy and all that stuff, and then ended up losing my job. And so I lost therapy along the way because, if you lose your health benefits, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The co-pays are
So,
expensive.
right, exactly. So, uh, I basically was like, at that point, since having done music for most of my life, I was just like, I need just some outlet kind of thing. So I started writing music. It mainly happened, so along with losing my job, I also went through a miscarriage with my wife, and that was
Wow.
really
Oh, fuck.
what sparked it all, right? So that's really what sparked it all, and that's where the first song that we ever wrote, "Get Better," came from, and it's kind of just been going from there.
That's I mean, it's great that you're able to take that and then use music as a way to process that. So because I noticed that on I think it's your Instagram, your tagline is pop punk music therapy. So is that kind of what you're going for with the message of your music? Is because I think also Thoughts and Prayers, is that an EP that's coming out,
Yeah,
or okay, go ahead, yeah.
thoughts and prayers is more like a satirical thing,
Okay.
but uh,
No, it is. I guess I figured that might have been the case, but yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, no, the pop punk music therapy is really what it started all out as. Kind of me doing it for myself as like a music therapy, but I write pop punk, so it's kind of that, but also play on like if anyone's going through something similar and they relate, that's
Hmm.
kind of what we kind of do. Now, is what we write about like music therapy kind of things? Like, nope, it's what I'm feeling at the moment and kind of what I'm going through. So that's just me processing everything. So that's kind of what
Yeah,
it comes from.
Pretty
exactly.
on par with a stereotherapy thing. I was gonna say, no wonder.
Uh,
Right.
Yeah, no
yeah,
wonder. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right
Right.
down her alley. Yeah,
it
Yeah,
definitely is.
exactly. Exactly.
Write down our music, what we all
right.
listen to.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Right.
I guess like this seems to be a nice Venn diagram that's a circle,
100%. Yeah.
right?
Let's bring it back a little bit though. You said you wrote music and you played music when you were younger as well. So how did that get started for you? Were you the kind of kid that listened to like Blink 182 and then picked up a
Yep.
guitar for the first time, or
Yep.
what was that history? What did that look like? What really kicked it off
So
for you?
I actually didn't start out playing guitar and singing. I actually started out on drums.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
High school band,
Gotcha.
or actually middle school band, I want to say, because we started in like seventh grade. But yeah, me and a few of my friends started playing middle school. Played throughout high school. My singer actually went on to be the tour manager of All Time Low and did all that fun
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
Pretty
Right. So,
Maryland DW.
That makes
yep,
sense. Yes.
yep. It's a small world out there. So, as I'm sure you know. And then, what? I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Just how you got into music in the first place, your
Yeah.
origins. Yeah.
So, high school, Blink-182 was our first concert. So, yeah, that's really it. And been
Nice.
doing it ever since.
Yeah.
Been in numerous bands throughout my time. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And pop punk, that emo music, is that like what you gravitate towards? Is like what bands really do you relate most to?
Pop punk is easily what I gravitate towards the most. But I mean, I've been writing all types of genres throughout my day. Did a little post-hardcore stuff after my first band, so
Oh,
I
nice.
was on the line of like Thrice and things like that. Then
Gotta go
did
through a thrice phase. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Then did a like really poppy phase after that. I was in a band called The Bigger Lights. So it's like super poppy. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but you may have from PA. We did play PA a lot. And then after that, it's just been me trying to hone in on what I really wanted to do and just
Yeah.
stick to my roots.
Yeah. So I noticed that so you started writing with your band, The Honesty. Now I know you're primarily the guitarist and the singer. So then the rest of the band, um, who makes up the rest of the band?
Uh, well, things have happened since that all's, yeah. I've actually gone through a phase where I actually had to kick out my drummer and guitarist a few weeks, not weeks, but like a month or two ago.
What
Again,
happened?
trying. I don't want to get into specifics, but things were done where they didn't align with the values of the band, and I just couldn't keep
Understood.
going. And I didn't want to condone some things that they were doing in the scene, and I just was way against what I was for. So,
I,
Solid.
I
right,
know.
yeah,
Exactly. I appreciate the honesty there about your
Yeah.
values. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you don't hear that very often, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
it's good. It's good to hear. Yeah, yeah. Especially in this genre, in this world. Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of yeah, we've covered that a lot where there's a lack of if the homies are doing weird shit, sometimes people just kind of give it a pass, you know?
Look,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not that they were doing weird shit per se. It's just they were doing things that just were blatantly against things that I were standing for, and the whole like I don't want to get into specifics, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
do it. It's therapy for me, and they didn't really align with that, and
Okay,
it was
gotcha.
very conflicting at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So
understood. Yeah. So what's the plan now? Are you looking for new
I
members?
am looking for new members. I'm currently looking for a drummer right now.
Okay. PSA for anyone out there.
Yeah,
I
so
was
if
gonna
you're listening
say,
and you want to play,
Yeah.
hit me up, DM me. But yeah, drummer right now. Trying to reassess on like really what I want to do in terms of like how far I want to take things. You know, I just had a second kid, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to like tour as much as I wanted to or anything like that. So it's just trying to figure out the balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm lucky enough to get a drummer and all that, which I think I will, it just takes
Yeah.
time. Who knows what'll happen?
Yeah.
where do you
Because you
find a drummer in 2025?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well,
That's the
where do you
hardest
do
part.
these things? Because yeah, back in the day, we'd hit like Craigslist or MySpace or something like
right.
that.
What
Like
do you do these days?
I mean, right now it's basically me trying to do that on Instagram and putting out feelers anywhere I can, asking anyone who might know anyone who lives in the area that plays and is looking for a band.
There we go.
It's not easy, I'll tell you that much.
no, no.
Figure it would be like people would be, putting their stuff out there on Instagram, TikTok, and you could just find it all like so easy. But
Yeah, you would think it would be easy to find and all that, but then again, like there's just so much out there. There's so many bands. There's so like
There's so
I don't
few
want to.
drummers too.
Right, there are a few drummers, and that's the hard.
Yeah, there's like one for every five good bands. So you gotta really find. You gotta earn a drummer.
and
It's a
that
tough
one drummer is
spot.
probably in like 8 bands.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's a tough situation. Yeah,
Right.
he's either 30, he's either 45 or he's like 14. Like there's just it's a tough spot. You gotta take what you can get with a drummer sometime. Like
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
exactly right.
Exactly. It's
PSA
not
parents
easy. I
buy your
want to.
kids drum
Right.
sets.
Yeah. I want to find the right person too, and someone that knows what they're doing and can really freaking play really good, and it
Yeah,
just takes time. So
100%. Yeah, but you already have a lot of music that's already been recorded, correct? 'Cause I know you just had um a single
No
release not
release, yeah.
right? Become What You
What,
yeah,
a
we
Hate.
month and a
just
half ago?
dropped our single "Become What You Hate" like last
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, like
Yeah.
4 days ago. It's off of our upcoming album that I guess my album that I've been working on for like the past year or so
Yeah.
with Sam Pura down in Fremont. I always get it mixed up, but Fremont. He's worked with Story So Far, You Find Glory, all the good things.
How did that
Um,
come to be? How did that arrangement happen?
so oddly enough, that arrangement happened because my buddy in a band called Free Friends out of Baltimore, I think they're out of Baltimore, but
Shout
the
out
the
Baltimore.
Baltimore area, um, went out and worked with them like a year or two ago, and we were just chatting one day, and he was like, "Hey, you should go work with Sam." I was just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that
and
was an
so I
option.
That's
Right. So I just hit him up, sent him my music. He was interested in it, and what's done is done. We did
that's
it.
There we go.
So
yeah, because
yeah,
he did your album The Bridge, and he's also doing the stuff you've worked on. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's great.
yeah. We did the bridge first. That was right after the Free Friends thing, and then I was like, I just had such a good time with him that I was like, I gotta.
It's amazing.
Nice
Yeah.
vibe. Let me ask. I said that's a nice vibe. Let me ask you an
Thanks.
important question here that I ask most bands in our general world. I believe there's three types of pop punk:
Yes.
bubblegum pop punk, there's cigarette pop punk, and there's Monster Energy drink pop punk. Of those three, which would you personally self-assess the honesty into?
What was the second? Okay, so
There's
bubblegum,
there's bubblegum pop
Monster
punk,
Energy.
Monster Energy pop punk, and cigarette pop punk. Kind of like a Pokemon you pick, like it
I
says a
don't
lot.
really
It's a
know.
Rorschach test. Yeah, it's
I mean,
really what
Monster
you
Energy
believe.
sounds like we are playing fast and hard all the time, which is not always the case because we have slower
Does
songs.
does.
I don't want to associate with myself with like cigarettes. That killed my grandma.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out, Grandma.
So,
Yeah, I get.
uh,
Yeah,
you know what
doesn't
I'm
have to be
saying?
a
Maybe
literal cigarette. I don't think. Yeah.
But we're not bubblegum pop punk either. So, I mean, I guess I would have to go with cigarette
Yeah, yeah,
pop
it
punk.
happens in there. Yeah,
How about just
So,
ashy bubblegum? Like,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, you don't have to like bubblegum to be in the bubblegum category. You don't have to drink energy drinks to be in the energy drink category. Sometimes
fair.
it just the chips fall where they lie. Sometimes, but it seems
yeah,
that most bands have a self assessment very very on the nose with those ones.
Yeah, I mean, some of our stuff is Monster Energy, some of it's bubblegum, and some of it's
yeah,
cigarettes. So, I mean, we I don't want to fit into like a specific mold of what,
No, you want to be
I
right
want
in the middle of that three part
to.
Venn.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So you've gone to work with Sam, and you've also gotten to tour with some pretty cool artists as well. Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, Grey Wind, and like according to your bio on Spotify, also Jacob's Castle with Jacob Noel, and that was your first show too, and it was like a sold out show. So talk a little bit about that experience, what that was like, getting to do that.
Uh, it was surreal, to be honest.
Yeah. How long have you been a band at that point? Honest, like,
When
and
we played with Jacob, we were a band for like 3 months, like full
wow.
band, 3 months.
Yeah.
Sick.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, we got super lucky.
Yeah.
Um, my guitarist and drummer know like some of the people that book a lot of the shows around here, so that's kind of how we got connected.
Okay. Gotcha.
They also know Jacob personally from previous bands because I don't know if he's from SAC or from around here, but they like grew up playing with him in previous bands, so they've known him. And
Interesting.
it was like, hey, we're gonna play, and he was like, yeah, you're gonna play, and so
Yeah.
we ended up
That's cool.
getting on. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I can and can't say technically. I mean, I'm not trying to like be mean or anything. I think it's a cool story. I think it's funny, but so we all get in the show. Jacob's out playing another like show. They're not even there. So like we're all doing the sound check, getting ready to play, and the promoter comes up and he's like, "Hey, I don't know when Jacob's going to be here. You guys might have to play long." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. No big deal." And
True.
so we go on at like 9. I think we played at like 9:45, 9:50. We don't end up going long, but like as we're playing our last song, like that's when they roll in, and so
Wow.
yeah, and they're like, "Hey, sorry, like we've had some other stuff going on," and like, but it's amazing. So I think it's just cool. Like they got there like at this nick of time, and they're just like roll on the stage and go play.
So they didn't even
Um,
sound check. They just rolled
no,
on
they didn't. They
stage.
literally just rolled on the stage and played. And I mean, this is Jacob's Castle, so it's not like Sublime affiliated, but like he
Yeah.
played a few Sublime songs just because he's Jacob Noel.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. I would
Right,
too if I was him, I guess.
right. And now they're like writing some huge record that's going to come out soon. So
Of course. Yeah.
not Jacob's Castle, but Sublime.
Yeah. They're doing a
I mean,
Sublime record, right?
Right.
Are
yeah,
they
they
doing?
are
They're
now.
doing it with Travis, I think. Am I
I don't know
tripping on
who's
that?
producing it. I mean, last thing I've seen, read, heard was that they were just writing with, I think it was someone from Pennywise or something like that.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
okay. Interesting.
But if they record with Travis, that'll be interesting.
It would be interesting. Travis is getting a lot of folks in the game right now.
Yeah.
He's busy. Yeah, I swear I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
I saw they're doing it with him. I might have been tripping though.
I think that would be an interesting mesh because they're not really that kind of punk, if you want to call them punk. I call them more like reggae rock. So
No,
that's
that's a
cool.
weird. Yeah, it's a weird blend. I mean, it'd be
Yeah,
interesting. But
right.
speaking of Blink, I couldn't help but notice some clear Blink 182 influences in the music you're writing and the like. So, like, general question: what is your entry point for Blink, and what is your top three Blink albums?
By entry point, like you mean like what
Where you
introduced
found
me to
them?
them?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I can't quite gauge how old you are, so I can't tell if you would. Yeah, I can't.
I, I'm
We're
I'm not young. I'm not young. My first concert was Blink 182. I think they played Enema that time. It was the Pop Punk Disaster tour.
okay.
So
This
the
is
I think it
2000,
was
2001.
Blink Green Day.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Yeah.
2001.
Yeah.
2001. Yeah.
So
Green Day was not the headliner.
right,
They were not
Yeah.
happy about it. Because
they had to
I
fight
just,
about it.
yeah, I just
Right,
read the Mark Hoppus memoir. You see it back there.
exactly.
Yeah. He talked about it.
Um, so that was my first. I think that was my first concert back in high school. Uh, and then the next one question was top three albums.
Yes.
Easily for me. I mean, my personal favorite is Untitled.
Good call.
I just think it's like their best work. It's what they
Yes.
culminated. I mean, if they could write more stuff like that, that'd be sick.
They can't. They can't.
I know.
The moment, yeah, that was a moment. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I would do
Uh,
them anymore.
and then it's not really an album, but I mean, I just love the Mark, Tom, and Travis show.
Great pick.
It's
Okay.
technically an album.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
produced as much as an album. That was my yeah, like I because I would have been too young for like Cheshire and Dude Ranch. Like that's how I first heard a lot of those songs too.
right, right.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna throw a wrench in here. I actually don't know. I don't know the album name, but the I think it was California, the one with Skiba.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are my top three.
Hey,
We love,
Skiba's Rob
yeah,
guys.
we love
Yes.
Matt Skiba.
We do love
Interesting
that Skiba.
choice.
Yeah,
Interesting choice. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I,
we
I
love Matt. That's my
I'm
guy.
not a huge fan of the new album. Like I like the songs. I just think it's
Yeah.
like a lot way overproduced for my taste.
Mm-hmm.
And so comparing it to the other ones, it's just
Travis has this drum sound where the drums just sound like I don't even. It's like
right,
ultra compressed and like he ran it through like a filter on like his like free Audacity software or something. It's something very
something like
weird
that.
about it. It's
Yeah,
something that just I don't yeah, I don't
exactly.
love it.
I guess being a drummer, I don't need them to sound amazing, but like I'm very particular about how the drums sound. And yeah, I agree with you. Like
I don't
I don't know if
love
they're
the drum
constantly
sound.
I don't know if they're constantly clipping or what it is, but
That's
it
what I
just
think. I feel like
it
he just
sounds weird.
redlines the shit out of it or something
Right.
like that because it
Right.
just has this like crunched in kind of sound, like where it sounds like it's two rooms over and still loud as piss. It's just like it's the mod. Like I think with the way streaming and things just work, everything needs to really grab your attention. So it's very
Yeah.
aggressive and it's very
Right.
like
Yeah.
everything is upfront in a way. But like, yeah, it's tougher to listen to as compared to like you listen to like the Jerry Finn records like that. It's like there's just like those sound like heaven almost, like in the
Right.
nice everything's at even levels, the drums are sitting in the back, like there's the Hammonds, the synths, and it's like whereas with this it's very much like okay, it's almost like hip hop influenced in a way where it's just like oh the drums sit very close up front and it's Travis so it's busy as shit and it's like I like it but it's tough to take in my ears all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's dialed it back. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard the Better Days song that Yellow Card just
Oh
dropped, but
yeah.
it's way
Mhm.
dialed back now.
Is it? Oh, I haven't even
Oh
Yeah.
checked
yeah.
it out yet. We like it?
I like that
Yeah, it's
song.
a
I'm
great
a big
song.
fan of
Sounds
Better
great.
Days.
I think the vocals are a little overproduced, but
Yeah.
sounds
It
sounds
could
great.
be it might be
It
just
didn't sound like
for Ryan
Could just be
sound like
wrong.
him to me at the
Yeah.
beginning. I was just like, is this still him?
Yeah.
It's still an amazing song.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like
And I don't
the
know if the violinist is singing
yeah.
more now.
Yeah, he's fucking
He
yeah.
might.
Like lead vocal singing.
Mm,
I think they put out another song and he like starts out doing
it's
like
called
the whole
Honestly
verse or something.
You. Maybe I have to re-listen to Honestly You and see
I
if
think it's
Sean
him in the first
is it.
part. I think
Oh,
so.
wow. Okay, I'm gonna re-listen to it then and check it.
Interesting.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Ryan, those are some high notes for Ryan's voice, and
Yeah.
as getting older, I mean, I know like when Vic Fuentes from Pierce Vale, he said, "Man, I made all of our older records really high. I should not have done that."
Yeah.
And now they're playing some of those songs from like Flair for the Dramatic and stuff on their current tour. Just like, yeah, he may never play
Yeah.
those again, but just
Still
for this,
tough.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to adjust those
You could
because
always just
we all,
play him down a key or two. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he just drop it a step, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I
So
do.
yeah, exactly. Everyone,
Classic pop punk move. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We used to
He
have
does.
this guy in San Diego. You had to like, we had this, it was like gotscene.com or something. It's basically like a Craigslist Tinder for like, meeting bandmates and stuff like that. I remember there was this one guy, Leon, and people would always tell you, like, watch out for Leon. He gets mad when you don't have your guitar 2.5 step dead, this and that. And I was like, I think that's like 50% of people. Like I don't tune down, but most like, yeah, people in this scene are tuning down. Like it's just, ain't
Oh
nobody
yeah.
can actually do that nasally high note. Most people can't really do it.
I was actually just about to say something similar. Like if you go back and listen to older records, a lot of them are like in that E range. But now as it's been getting, I don't know if it's like the time or if people are just getting older and so they can't hit the notes anymore, which I don't think it's that. I think it's a phase. I think pop punk is gradually moving lower. So like a
Agree
Yeah.
lot
with
of
that.
songs now are in like C,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
It's
just like
the it's the data rememberification of pop punk is what I
right.
call it.
Okay,
Like it's
gotcha.
that it's
Yeah,
like it's the hardcore elements, you know what I mean?
Okay,
yeah.
Like
yeah,
to me, like Fall Out Boy, like it's I would always say like yeah, if you took like Fall Out Boy songs and you put them in like drop C, like it sounds like a hardcore band kind of thing. Like
okay.
in the way like just the
I'd
early
never
records, the
even
way
thought of that.
yeah, like there are those early records like Joe and it like Joe's just like fucking chugging and shit like you know what I mean? But it's like it sounds so bubbly because yeah, they're tuning a standard key, but like like you take it like to now these bands are more influenced by those heavier bands, I think. So like you
Right.
get more of
Hardcore.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Try
is.
to write in higher keys. I just can't sing in them.
Yeah. Hey, I get it.
We're
I
getting
get
older, getting older. It's
It
tough.
We're
It's
all getting
happens.
tough.
older. Yeah. Well, speaking of writing, so talk to us a little bit, Mike, about your writing process. So I know we talked a little bit about how originally it was kind of like a therapeutic measure for you, but now that it's kind of become you know a regular thing, right? This is now like a project for you. When you're sitting down and writing songs, what does that look like to you? Is it lyrics first? Is it music first? What does that process look like? Where is that inspiration coming from?
Varies from day to day, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
Um, Sometimes I'll just be sitting there doing, I don't know what, and like just something will hit me,
Yeah.
and it'll be like a melody or like a lyric or something. Like, all right, I gotta go. Sometimes it's a drum beat.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it starts out with music and then I work on the lyrics.
Okay.
I find that a little easier to process. Like I know where the song is, so I know like what I'm looking at for the lyrics. Whereas like if I start out with the lyrics, I could go on and on and on and on and
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah.
your parameters.
Right. Um, so yeah, I would say typically it starts out with music. Um, Usually that means like I'll come up with like a guitar idea and I'll have a drum beat in my head and then I'll
Okay.
put that down on like voice recorder thing on the iPhone and ask a few people if it sounds good, and if they say yeah, sure, sounds cool,
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, all right, cool, I might turn it into something more.
Much of
Who
the
are those
song like
ones?
Yeah, how much of the songwriting process is like, I mean, is this, would you consider this in the nicest way possible, like more of like a solo project where it's like you're coming up with like, as someone that played drums as well, you're coming up with like 80, 90, 100% of the song, or is it more, gets a little collaborative once you have like a core progression melody?
Uh, I want it to be as collaborative as possible. More heads in the room, the better it is. My goal when it comes to writing is not necessarily who's playing it or whatever that may be. I want the best
Yeah.
finished product.
Yeah.
So, whatever that needs to be, yeah, I won't disagree. Like a lot of the stuff so far for me has been all me writing all the parts,
Mhm.
which is cool. I don't necessarily want it to be a solo project or anything like that. I want it to be more collaborative because I think that opens up so many doors.
Feels
Yeah.
like a band.
Right.
It's no more,
And
these
I,
kids aren't playing in fucking bands anymore, bro. Yeah, like yeah, it's,
right.
everything is so much like that with MacBooks. It's a lot easier to kind of program this stuff yourself even.
Right, right. I think I'm lucky in the sense where like I started out on drums, so like I can do all that programming if I really need to. But do I want to be like, would I want to play a live show without a drummer and just drum tracks? No, that'd be so weird to me. I
Yeah.
want it
Yeah,
to be a full band.
it
I
would be
want us
whack.
all to
Yeah.
be writing every. I want us all to be collaboratively writing together. Um, so yeah, ultimately, like if for whatever reason I were to get a drum or whatever, like I'd be wanting them to write the drum parts and things like that. Like that's what they're here to do. That's what they should be doing, kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
How does the
100%.
West Coast compare to the East Coast in terms of like the scenes? Because I mean, you've been in Sacramento. Like I, I've never. I'm actually like I think I'm technically banned from Sacramento. We'll get into that after this. But like, yeah, no, it's a whole thing. Like, no,
I'm happy to
yeah, but like, growing, I played
Something I don't
in San
know. I
Diego,
mean,
San Diego, LA, and in middle of nowhere, Canada. But like, I just do you notice the difference between West Coast versus like East Coast? Not so much in a coastal thing, but just comparing a Maryland scene versus Sacramento.
I would say the East Coast scene is better. I don't
Yeah,
want to say better. It's not
no, we can say
necessarily
it.
better. It's like
It's fine. You can say that.
Yeah,
It's
we can say it.
smaller.
I'll claim it.
It's smaller. So like
More tight knit.
there's more access for kids to get to the shows. If
Mhm.
that makes
That's
sense.
Yes.
Where
Okay.
like
accurate. Yeah.
Hour
you're in the
between every
valley,
town you're at.
right? You're in the valley. If you needed to go to a show in LA, sitting in traffic, you're looking at what, an hour, maybe two
Hour and a half.
hours,
Yeah, hour and a half. Yeah,
right?
2 hours. Yeah,
So
and
like that's
if
just
you're a
not
kid, you can't take that bus.
right.
Yeah, or something.
Whereas on the East Coast, like a venue is like 15, 20 minutes away max, maybe
But yeah.
Yes.
30 if at worst. Like if you really want to go see if you're diehard, you can go to a different state and see a band, and it's like not the end of the world. Like I've driven
No.
to New York from Maryland to go see, I don't, maybe it was like Circus Survive or something like that. So it's like it's not impossible to do. Where like here, I feel like it's a lot more isolated.
Yeah,
No.
especially like yeah, like even up where you're at, like it's like okay, you want to do shows Sacramento, San Jose, the Bay, this and that. Like all these places are basically like an hour apart, kind of when you factor in
Right,
traffic and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and
exactly,
it's
if not more.
very very difficult to get around them otherwise. And even then if it's like a west so I Sacramento, I'm it's like 2013, I'm booking a tour up the coast and like yeah, same thing, like if we're on the East Coast, like and like I see tons of like I love all the modern like DIY emo bands and they're all East Coast based and none of them could come out here just because it's a nightmare logistically. So I'm trying to book shows. We have shows up through like San Luis Obispo, and then it's like we have Oregon and like hey, there's San Francisco, but it's like there's this pile of area in between there. Like Sacramento, you need to book Sacramento. You need to fill these spots. You need to do a Medford. Like otherwise, it's nonsensical as a band to be driving for
Right,
9 hours with no pay in the
Yeah.
middle. So
right.
I posted on Craigslist. I've never been to Sacramento. I didn't know. When I was a kid, the Lakers and the Kings had a rivalry. And so I knew of Sacramento. It was called Cowtown. And I thought this was something that was said like endearingly. I thought this was something the citizens of
Oh,
Sacramento said. No, this was Derek Fisher talking shit, calling
Oh
it
no.
Cowtown. So I posted on Craigslist, like I was like flooding local San Francisco, all this, and the
got
Sacramento
it.
one. I put like we're looking to play shows in Cowtown, this and that, and I received, not exaggerating, tens upon tens of threats, of emails, of Craigslist responses, being like, the Wild Young Hearts are never welcome in Sacramento, like all this. And it's just like, I made an honest mistake. I
I
didn't
didn't
know,
know.
but
Right.
I have, yeah, I'm avoiding Sacramento just in case one weirdo from Craigslist has not forgotten because I haven't forgotten. So I'm about to get, there might be someone else. But yeah, so I know better. I'd like to apologize to you and the rest of Sacramento for saying that.
Probably wasn't here, so I don't know.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
time hearing of it.
Yeah. They
Oh,
didn't mention this at the town hall. Okay.
Nope.
Wasn't as
I
important of an
missed that.
ordeal as
I
I
must have
ima-
missed
yeah
that one.
I felt really banned at the time. Like this is before canceled. Like I was fully canceled in a fucking county. Yeah, it was bad. At least I thought I was.
Yeah,
that's
put you in.
Rob every time.
I didn't know any better. Yeah, I didn't know any better. I just
It
Oh
happens.
my goodness.
We
uh
all. It happens. It's no
yeah,
big
Yeah.
you
deal.
know, I grew up in San Diego. Like bands that come to San Diego, they always do the Anchorman joke. Like, brother, we've heard the
Right.
Anchorman joke 6,000 times.
Uh,
You need to get new material. But I know they mean well. I'm not mad at you for doing the whale vagina thing. Like you thought it up on the bus right here. You were like, that's sick. Will you get a
Same.
pass?
run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a pass. Like we'll pretend we haven't heard this at every show since 2003.
Yeah. So, speaking of the music, so what are what are you writing about these days? I mean, the music that, when it comes to the themes of your music, what are you really gravitating towards most? What are you writing about?
Uh,
Hopefully not Sacramento. I don't know.
it really varies, kind of based on like what I'm feeling. I guess as I'm writing it, I don't really like try to be too specific about it. I guess is the easiest way to put it. Right now I'm writing a song actually about, my old hometown and like kind of trying to do a almost a my hometown sucks kind of a day to remember thing, but not that heavy or cool.
Okay, cool.
Pretty
Hopefully
on
it's
brand with the
cool.
genre though. I was gonna
Right.
say
Very on
as like
brand.
as a grown man with two kids, same grown man with two kids. Do you find it difficult to write songs in a genre that is so rooted in youthful abandonment, youthful rebellion, and almost juvenility and immaturity as a fully grown, or partly fully grown introspective adult man?
I do like this question a lot. Um, no. uh,
Because I struggle
like
with this. I
I
struggle with
totally
this.
get where you're
Yes.
coming from, and I don't like it's such a youthful genre that
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you, but I mean, I'm not trying to write about like my high school girlfriend or whatever anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Because
more like
that's even
what I'm going through now, kind of,
Yeah.
even like a Blink, like especially with like a Mark, like on recent albums, like there's some songs. I'm like, brother, you've been dating the same woman. You've been married to Sky
Right,
like since you met her in like 25 years ago. Like I don't buy these breakup and she said and this thing's like they feel like inauthentic
yeah,
and it's like same thing.
right,
My band coincidentally conveniently basically stopped like about like a few months into me being a dad because it's like I'm like what the fuck do you want me to say here? Do you want me to talk about like I love my kids or something like that? Like it's a lot tougher to channel something and not feel
yeah,
inauthentic, really, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. I totally agree, and that's, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, at the end of the day, the things I write about, I just try to make it relatable, but not like I don't try to come off like inauthentic about it. And like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna write like as I said, like I'm not gonna write about like some high school breakup thing
You're not gonna be bowling for
now.
Yeah,
Sandy.
you don't. Yeah, you don't sound like. Yeah, you're not writing songs where it sounds like I'm a 16-year-old in this
Yeah.
Right,
situation. It's like
right.
I'm a grown man in my
And
30s. Like
I
shit
kind
sucks
of
still.
approach it as, if I write something that someone relates to, great. At the end of the day, it's really for me, and if people relate to it, amazing. Like that's all I can ask for is that people relate to it. But like still at the end of the day, it's therapy for myself. So
Yeah.
like I'm just trying to write what feels right to me, and hopefully people also want to listen to it.
I like that.
Doing pretty
Yeah.
well so far. Doing pretty well
Yeah.
so far. Yeah,
Trying.
Yeah, I know you are.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got about yeah. Well, it looks like we have about like 3,700 so Spotify monthly listeners, which is pretty incredible for a smaller unsigned band in general in any scheme that doesn't have any sort of financial backing from a label or a management group or the
Yes,
like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How
correct.
would you say, and you guys seem to be doing well across the board, Instagrams and the like. How do you manage to really promote your stuff in the modern
Mhm.
era of the world? Because yeah, if you're a young person or maybe an older person that wants to release some new music, how would they go about it? Because like like social media's made it change
I
10
mean,
times over.
back in the day, you would just get a feature thing on Pure Volume, but Pure
Yeah.
Volume's not even around anymore.
Rest in
Yeah,
peace, Pure Volume. Yeah, no, yeah, we
keep your volume.
So
forced them out.
it's super difficult now, to be honest. Playing the game at the end of the day, sadly, it's just making reels and hopefully people watch it and
Connect with it.
doing that endlessly, which is not fun for me. I'd
Yeah.
rather just be making music and posting that, and hopefully people enjoy that. I don't necessarily think it's 100% about the music. It's more about the virality of the music. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's kind of why we don't have any like huge names anymore. I mean, there's Taylor Swift, but like
There's
But
no,
like
yeah,
it's
there's
yeah,
no,
music.
it's more one hit wonder stuff now, just because of the
it's
virality of
just,
it. You're hot one day,
yeah,
you're not the next.
and it's segment in the sense of like everything
Right.
you and everyone you know could see something. Like I spoke with someone the other day who didn't know who the Rizzler was. And I was just like, what do you mean you don't know the Rizzler? I'm giving them a full backstory. I'm like, there's the Costco
Right.
cinematic universe, there's AJ, there's Big Justice. They're doing great. They're Costco guys. Then out of nowhere, the Rizzler comes along, and he's kind of like the Urkel Kimmy Gibbler of this thing, but he really blows the whole thing. And she's just like, I don't know, like I don't know anything about this. I'm like, but you're on your phone too. It's not like you're just outside all the time. Like how, but like things are so segmented. Like even in our like, there hasn't been that since we've talked about a lot of our show. Like I'd say, yeah, maybe that like Taylor and Drake are like the last artists like that. And for our, any rock bands, I mean, the last of those are maybe like Fall Out Boys, My Chems, I don't know of any bands 2010 onward that maintain any major relevance. Even the bands from around them, like Amuse, Kings of
Yeah.
Leon, those kind of more
Yeah.
rocky, like they are not fucking relevant really in the same way anymore.
Or they're
Hmm.
not bands, they're all solo artists now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Right. The only
Yes.
one I could think of from 2010 would be like One Direction.
Yeah, and
Even
they're
then,
not
they
They're not
that's
even
a
together.
yeah,
right,
and yeah, not yeah, that's a boy band that was like did a good job masquerading almost as a rock band. Yeah, rest in
right,
peace, Liam.
right,
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Liam.
shout
exactly.
out Liam. Shout out. Yeah, I'm not allowed to say more on that. But it's interesting though because like it's the same thing where it's like I see bands now and like I personally am such like a media whore that like I see this stuff in this new age of like oh like you just had to make reels like I would fucking massacre in a band right now like I don't even need like I just had to be obnoxious on the internet like but it makes it so like with the MySpace stuff and with that era of social media, you had to grind, but there wasn't really like music still had to be front and
Different.
center to a
Yes.
degree.
Yes,
Your work ethic mattered a lot, but there was less of like a virality to it, where it's just like, oh, this is hilarious. I didn't even realize this was a band.
yeah.
Whereas now, I think there's
The
like, oh,
MySpace band era.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Love
it
it.
was
You
really
had you had people like blogging, but it
Yeah.
wasn't the same thing
no,
as
So,
you had to
so my
grind, but there
band,
wasn't silly videos.
My band, The Bigger Lights, was a MySpace band.
okay.
We were actually on Doghouse. So
Nice.
I went through the whole thing. I know, like, it was so much easier back then to do it on MySpace though, because there was so much less moderation,
Yeah.
and
No,
there wasn't AI, and like it's
and
all like AI moderated now.
there was no buyer resistance either in the sense of like if you like throughout the 2010s up till now if you're in a band like I remember like in the 2010s we would message people on Twitter we would have the same approach on Twitter we had on MySpace where it's like you send a DM by then people are aware like this dumbass like auto bot message from this band like but like there was a point where MySpace you'd get that message from a band you really like these and maybe they were personally sent but there was like a thing like oh this band actually legitimately reached out to me I'm going to
Right.
check them out you were at least like
Yep.
kind of intrigued. You hadn't been hustled by the street vendor
Right.
yet.
And you can't do that now. You'll just get
No,
blocked or
no,
reported, and
Yep.
they don't,
they
and
got
they don't want to
moderation,
hear your
and
shit.
yeah, they an Instagram like or social medias or whatever will they'll like block you and make it so you like they limit how people see what you see. Like it's very tough now because there's just so much. There's so much content. Everyone can make music now. Like
Yeah.
it's not easy.
No, yeah.
It's a matter of actually needing to find a way to like stand out on, you know what I mean? Because
On the
Right.
internet.
the way things were before was so simple that now it's like you have to be creative in ways that are like this has nothing to do with being in a band.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
Not
basically have to be like
And
a
and
YouTuber.
that's yeah. You basically have to be an influencer that happens to make music, and that your niche is that you make music.
that you're a musician. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that's
Exactly.
that's what I feel like it is now. And whatever, if that's what it is what
That's
it
got to
is.
be
But
hard for
it
people
is.
who are primarily musicians. I think
Yeah.
about some of the musicians in bands that we all love that definitely would not thrive in that environment.
Right.
Yeah, no, this is very much an avenue for
Like,
people like
yes.
myself, maybe a Pete Wentz, guys that
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah, he went to
musically,
be
musically,
fine.
we're only so talented, but like we know how to whore ourselves. Like, is that's really is
Yes,
like this is the advantage here is like whoever's willing to be the most obnoxious, basically. And traditionally speaking,
pretty
the
much.
more artistic you are, the more
Jargon
introverted
would not
and the like
benefit
you're
Yeah.
going
from
to be.
this
Yeah,
day
where
and
you
age.
are naturally not going to want to do that. You know what I mean? Like there's that divide. So then the people that become successful maybe are, for lack of better terms, a little fucking cringy, you know, like
Yes,
because
Yeah.
they have to be like like
Yeah.
TX2 or MGK, like these artists that in
Right.
our world seem to be doing well on social media and younger people are aware of. It's like, bro, I could never do that though.
Yeah.
No, I would
I
not that I would want to.
Yeah, there's a fine line for me as well, I would say,
yeah.
of how much I would want to sell my soul to be viral, I guess.
What's the
Now.
number?
Uh, no, I don't think I would.
He said he was
That's the
listening.
problem. I don't think I would.
No, yeah. I mean, but everything that you post seems so authentic, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's what
yeah.
attracts
I
a lot
mean,
of
to
people.
me, it seems cringy, so I'm glad you think it's
No,
authentic.
I
I mean,
I get you. Everything I ever put
I've
on,
seen
everything on
some
the
stuff
internet is
that some
cringy to
bands
me.
post that's pretty cringy.
Right.
Like, yeah,
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not easy, and I mean, even now, like I'm standing, like wherever I'm standing playing guitar, it's awkward. It's not fun. I'd rather be making like a music video and all that, but like we made a music video and like nobody saw it. No one really
no,
cares.
no one cares about
It's
the
all
stuff you
about
actually try hard to
the
do.
10-second virality reel on whatever the flavor of the week it is. So maybe
yeah, right.
someday.
Maybe someday when AI just crashes everything. I did find your band on while we were all chatting. Did you always flat iron your hair like that?
Back in the day,
You're
no.
gonna post the pic right here, right, Amanda? We need the pic.
I will.
It's
I
fine with
found
me.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's fine with me.
it.
No, we were.
No, that's what we were going for. We were very
Yeah,
much the Bigger
for
Less were
sure.
very much bubblegum. I wouldn't even
Yeah.
Bubblegum
say
pop
punk
punk.
rock. No,
Yes.
they were bubblegum pop.
You were doing the metro
Yes.
station bop thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
this was
with the dance beat. Yeah,
yeah. You gotta have the dance beat, the tight
oh
pants.
yeah,
Yeah, we
yep,
shout out American Apparel and
right.
I know.
H&M. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Y'all came out by the time I was living in Arkansas with
Yeah,
my
no,
husband.
I was perfectly right in a spot with plenty of shopping malls for tons of American Apparel and H&M. Yeah, it was a great time. It was the worst time, but it was a great time for for affordable American made clothing. Yeah, made under
American
yeah
Apparel days.
American
yeah.
Building.
Aren't they still
Sure,
around? Just
yeah,
He's
not
they
a
are.
really
nearly
nice guy. No,
not nearly as fun.
they're
Not nearly
branded
as
as something else now. The company's called something else now because he
Okay,
was outed as being. I mean, you know, like surprise, surprise, the guy in high fashion is what they would call a monster. But
got
yeah,
it.
they used to have their warehouse was like the Greyhound station in LA, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about the Greyhound stations over there, but I can imagine the Greyhound station is usually in the worst part of town. Uh, yeah, and the ground station in downtown LA is in the worst part of town. And the right next door, like basically like down the street was the American Apparel building. And like as a kid, I'd always be like, I'd stay there. I'd be on my way to Bakersfield, down at Bakersfield. And I'd always be like, man, I could like, oh, they make the shirts there, this and that. And now I realize I'm like, I was just looking at a a sweatshop where like SA crimes were happening. Like it wasn't as
Okay,
glamorous as I really
I didn't
thought.
know
Yeah.
that. I mean, I've been to
Yeah.
the factory back in the day, but I didn't know all
It
that.
wasn't going on when you were there. Yeah. 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 You caught him on
I
a
hope
good
not.
day. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
hope not.
Different, yeah, different wing of the office.
Fair.
Take back the
Yeah.
Got
shout
to
out
pick
for
out a few
American Apparel.
shirts.
That's still cool. That's still cool. Yeah, we liked the ultra low V was really popular at the time.
It sure was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was
You
the
knew
yeah.
how
ultra
to
low.
rock it.
I had to do it.
Yeah,
It was the image they wanted.
It definitely was.
that
Yeah.
was the
That
look. If
mattered.
you wanted to be in a band, you had to have that. You had to have that for a while. And then it kind of went indie rock. When
Oh
did
yeah.
that band from that band ending to the start of the Honesty? What was that time period and what were you doing musically?
So I actually left that band. I don't know, was it 2012-ish maybe?
Out.
And then I went back to college and got my degree and started doing computer science.
Nice. Okay.
My
And
brother
that's
goes
how
to
I'm.
school for computer science. I think that's a good gig.
And then
Yes.
that's how I ended up out here in Cali. I got a gig out here and moved out here, and so
I'm
it's
also
been
in
about
cybersecurity.
10 year difference from doing that to this.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah. Because 2022 is when you started the honesty, pretty much,
Yeah, roughly.
roughly around there. Yeah.
I like that the one longer release we have is 7 songs in about 19 minutes. I'm a big 10 song, 30-minute purist for an album length. I think anything over that is just like, uh, you're
Yeah,
just showing off kind of thing. I like the simplicity. I like that
I'm
there's
not a.
like a directness to it.
Back in the day, it was all 4 minute songs. It was like the thing. You had to have a 4 minute song. Like every
Yeah,
song
no,
had to be funny. Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
not me.
against it.
Yeah, I'm happy if it's like a minute 30. Let's do it.
Right? There we go. Thank you. Yeah, give me verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Like there we go.
Right,
That's it. That's it. Wrap it up.
right.
Helps with virality too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
especially
just all.
nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, I mean, yeah, not that it's intentional, but I mean,
I think.
nowadays,
Yeah,
that
I mean, in pop punk, unless you're doing like a super long bridge and trying to be like super fancy, you don't need to add more
there's
than you need. It's not
yeah.
necessary.
Unless you're doing spoken word at the end for some reason,
Right.
and you're only doing that if you're Pete Wentz. So
I
it's
was gonna
fine.
say, yeah, that's a people answer like a Connor Oberst thing. Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
hyper
We
specific.
got a
Yeah.
movie clip in our upcoming song. Does that count?
Well, what
Do
movie?
you?
What movie? What movie?
Really?
High Fidelity.
Okay. Oh, fucking
Okay.
okay.
Is that
Solid.
the point of view song that's coming out? Okay. That's in July, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
July 10th or 11th. Yeah, July 10th or 11th.
Right before Superman comes out in theaters. Because that's July 11th.
Okay, okay.
Superman's a
That
film coming out.
Yeah, the James Gunn's Superman, in case anyone is a
He
fan.
Yeah,
broke
I never
away from
seen
the
it.
MCU for it. That's all I know.
Oh yes, he did
Wait.
well.
James Gunn used to do the Guardians films, right? And then they fired him because like he got like low level Me Too'd, right? Like it wasn't a very good one, but it was
Did
like
he
it was
get
at that
fired?
time. I
It
thought they laid,
wasn't
and then I thought Chris Pratt came out and was like, this dude's cool. Am I tripping?
it wasn't Me Too. It was some people decided to unearth some very, very old tweets. He made some very crass jokes about some very crass things, like young kids. It was
The
stupid,
internet, we just used to, our
bad jokes. It
standards
was
for
bad
jokes were
jokes.
a lot lower back
So
then.
they fired him, but then eventually brought him back so he could do Guardians 3. But by that point, he was already signed on with DC to do Peacemaker, and then they handed the entire DC universe over to him. So there we go. In case
Peacemaker, the
anyone.
one with Jonathan Cena.
Yes.
He does
Yes.
that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, maybe I'm gonna check
That's
that out now.
that's that H. Is that on HBO?
Yeah,
Shout out
HBO the
HBO.
Max. Yeah, shout out yeah, yeah, shout out
It
Mr.
was Max.
Max.
Now it's HBO Max again.
All again. Everything
Good.
comes back around.
Yeah, yeah. I've been saying if they wanted to make America
Just
great again, they
like
needed to bring
food
back the fucking
clothing.
HBO and Max. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mike, you have the next single coming out in July. What else can we expect from you coming up?
After that, it's the rest of the album. It's
Okay.
a five song album. Uh, then I'm just gonna keep writing, and if anyone wants to join up and tag along for the ride, let's do it. And
It's
I'm
Excellent.
just
funny
gonna
you
see
say that,
wherever
yeah,
I can
because I've been
take it.
meaning to like start a new band lately, and I've been thinking the same thing. Like, how do you even do that? Like, how do you even find people? That's why when I asked you about the drum, like, how do you go about finding these people? Like, because I've been lucky, like that, like I've had a couple of videos where random people that I've played with before have been like, "Yo, bro," and I'm like, "Hey, let's jam."
Yeah.
Craigslist doesn't work anymore. Is it Facebook
Nope.
groups? Like, are you just TikToking, like Instagramming? Like,
I
it's
search
tough.
drumming tags on Instagram and hope I find someone in
Just
California, really,
try to find someone in the general
and
region.
hope and pray. Uh, no, but then like it gets to the point where the algorithm takes over and it'll actually start showing you drummers that are looking for bands that are like did stuff. So it kind of helps to an extent. But then
Yeah.
now, once I find one, or if I find one, then all I see is drummer ads that I don't need to see anymore because that's
Oh,
how it
that's
works.
They already found, yeah, it's like, yeah, getting
How do
the
I tell it
duet
I got
ads
it?
after you meet a lady.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. You're like, I don't need any
It's like
more.
speaking to
Yeah.
the phone. Hey, I got one. You might not.
Yeah,
Might
yeah,
not
right.
do
Yeah.
it. But,
Found
Change the
drummer.
algorithm.
Text
Nancy,
drummer.
don't
Let
show
him
me
know.
anymore.
Yeah, rehearsal 7:30 with drummer, the drummer.
You're
Right.
gonna purposely have to restart liking other things to
Right?
quick
Yeah,
mass course
yeah,
correct
Yep.
your algorithm real fast.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
sadly, that's how it works.
Yes, that is how it works. Yeah. It's
But
very
yeah,
God
sad.
no.
bless. Yeah, you're in
Right.
tech. I was gonna say this, brother. This isn't our fault. This might be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
know. I
you're
know all the
closer to Mark
secrets behind
Zuckerberg.
it.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you?
You got to talk to that guy.
I don't. I don't know Zuckerberg.
No,
Yeah. I
shit.
don't know how
Yeah,
close you
I,
work.
yeah,
mean, everybody is what 3 handshakes away from somebody else.
yeah, yeah. There's 7 degrees to
True.
Kevin Bacon or whatever.
Right.
We can find him.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, if you
it's
do
very
talk
true.
Not
to him,
not
please
too
let
far.
him know that. Yeah, please just let him know to mix it up and can change things for us to make it easier. Because yeah, I too, an adult man, would like to play some music with people sometimes, and it's
Yeah.
difficult for us to meet friends.
Right. It really is. It really is. I mean, outside of that, it's going to local shows and trying to find people that aren't already playing on the stage that are in a band, or if they're on the stage, they know people.
Yeah.
Good angle.
Actually,
It's it's not an easy hustle.
now
What are
for
your,
sure.
before we wrap it up, very important question. What is your Mount Rushmore of bands
Yeah.
personally? What leads the Mike of the Honesty today to become the Mike of the Honesty
Like, what's
today?
my top five?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's technically four on Mount Rushmore, but I don't really care about the dead president, so we can go with five instead.
I could do four.
No, let's do five.
Now, is
Fuck
it
it.
strictly
Yeah.
pop punk or anything?
No. Just in general, the things that
I
made you
mean,
pick up a guitar and start playing songs, writing songs.
what made me pick up a guitar and start writing songs was Blink 182, so they would
Okay.
be
So
on there.
yeah,
I
really,
wanted to be Travis Barker when I was a kid, but that didn't work out.
this makes sense. Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so it's just weird.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, you got to play the open-handed thing.
It,
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
open freehand, it's weird. I didn't learn that way because when I got taught, my drum teacher's right-handed, so he's like, "You're
Of
just gonna play
course.
a right-handed set because I'm not switching that around. That's too much work,
Yeah, it's confusing. Yeah.
dude." Drums, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Blink, uh, Bon Iver is actually probably one of my favorite artists, so they would be on there.
Shout
Nice.
out
Hands
Justin
down.
Vernon and the state of Wisconsin. Yeah.
What's up? Difficult. The last two are more difficult.
They don't
Lately, I
just throw
would say
anybody.
no, I don't. I'm very, very, very particular. Lately, I would say Neck Deep is making that list for me.
Yeah.
I've been absolutely obsessed with their latest album. Like, I can't stop listening to it. I like it more than Blink so much. Sadly, not sadly, because they're amazing.
I like the
Last
one before
one.
the most recent one, because the new ones, the ones that has like it won't be like this forever, right? Is on the new one, and on the
I'm a
last one
late
is like
bloomer.
Low Life and When You Know. Like I like that one. They kind of did like a Pierce the Veil thing where it feels less pop punk and more just like rock, like alternative rocky in a way.
I don't know as much of their older stuff, but to me, their older stuff was like they wanted to be more Green Day, and then it kind of evolved to wanting to be more Blink. It's the easiest way I can describe
Interesting.
it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know a lot of their older stuff, sadly. Um, what would my last one be? I don't know. Can I just do three?
Technically, yeah, the mountain really doesn't have any like official rules. Yeah, if we want to cap it
Yeah.
at
I
three,
know.
like it's your mountain.
It's your mountain.
Yeah,
Let's do that. We'll do three.
we can
Nice.
live with that. We can live with that. The fourth spot is available for anyone that wants to win over the heart and mind
Yeah,
of Mike.
because
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
available.
picky. I mean, if you hit me up like 10 years ago, easy.
I was gonna
But
say, yeah, my
now,
mountain. I might
now
put
I
like
just don't
nine
listen to
motherfuckers on it.
nearly as much music as I want to, and I'm so picky, and there's just so much of it and everything we've talked about, how it's just like it's all one hit wonder kind of stuff.
Yes.
But like that's why I like the new Neck Deep album so much. I can listen to it start to finish. There's not many albums that I can do that to. It's like here's their great song.
Yeah, it's hard to find an album like that these days.
Right. Sadly.
Yeah, very true. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
For anyone who wants to check out the band, where can they find you? Obviously, Spotify, Apple Music, all that. Where can they find you social? What's your internet handles and all that?
We're on the Instagrams at The Honesty Rock. We're on Facebook. I think it's just The Honesty, but it might be most of it's just The Honesty Rock. So if you search for The Honesty Rock, you should be able to find it. That's the
and if you can't, that's a good like litmus test for people. Yeah, if you can't figure that out, you're not old enough to be listening in the first place. Yeah,
right.
There we go.
Search for The Honesty Rock and you'll find it.
Yep. And your next single comes out in July, and you just had one come out.
It's a 3-song EP. It's called Thoughts and Prayers. It's kind of a satirical thing. It's going to be the new song called Point of View. It's also the song we just released, Become What You Hate, and the song we did before that called Merry Go Round that features Crooked Tooth. So it's just all 3 wrapped in one, so you don't have to go to many places to find it.
Nice.
Convenient.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Heck
I like the 2 we've already heard so far, so I'm looking forward to Point of View.
Sweet. And it's got a movie clip from the High Fidelity. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're tuning in for the High Fidelity clip first, and we're staying for the rest.
If you go on Instagram, there's a clip of it. You can hear it.
There we go.
That's a little movie clip and everything.
All right, so make sure you all check it out. It's on their Instagram if you want to get a little taste of Point of View before it gets released. So awesome, Mike. Thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for listening today or watching if you're watching this on the YouTube.
On the internet, yeah.
Do not forget to like and subscribe for more Emo Kids Anonymous. If you want to follow us, make sure to check out all of our Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. That's the only place we don't have a Facebook. I don't think so.
If you have Facebook, we don't need the Facebook crowd. Yeah, we don't want that crowd.
No, I don't want my grandparents or anyone else knowing what I do. Okay, anyway. Have a great day, Internet. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.